Good evening, my friends, and welcome to this, the latest installment of Opus Magnum. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty on the stream, given that our bot seems to have stopped working. So I can't share with you the YouTube link or the Discord link right now, but maybe next time. I also wanted to lead with perhaps a little bit of an announcement that I've decided that in celebration of the YouTube channel hitting 100 subscribers and the Twitch channel hitting all but 100 followers, we're now at 97 followers, which is amazing, and far more people than I thought would be interested in watching me play video games, frankly. I've decided that next weekend we should do a little bit of a celebration. So to avoid breaking the bank too much, I was thinking that I would give away some tier 1 subscriptions to maybe the first 5 chatters on the Sunday stream and the first 5 chatters on the Monday stream next week can have a free subscription as a gift from me. And yeah, I thought that would be a nice way to celebrate getting to 100. Anyway, we're on to Aether Detector. There's probably 3 puzzles left, and then we've got a lot of Sigma's Garden to still play before we hit those 100 wins. And finally, we're then going to be on the journal, I think it is. Aether Detector. Long have alchemical researchers theorized about an element called aether, or ether. We'll go with ether. I got confused because usually ether is spelt with an ash rather than as an AE, unless you're playing Magic the Gathering. Anyway, long have alchemical researchers theorized about an element called ether, and many are the experiments that have been devised to attempt to isolate it. One particularly dogmatic professor at Imperial University believed it could be detected by repeatedly constructing and deconstructing a specific material, theorizing that small errors in the process would, on rare occasions, result in the element's fortuitous appearance. To this end, he created a large number of production cabinets and ran them day and night. Alas, the processes yield no results, and ether remains firmly in the realms of theory. The recent discovery of quintessence has led most alchemists to believe that quintessence and ether are one and the same, and the mysterious 5th element has indeed been identified. But there are a small number, like this particular professor, who stubbornly persist in believing that ether is something else, and still wanting to be uncovered. Nikolai, if you're reading this, it is time to put that idea to rest. Okay, let's have a look. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since we've played here, so we've got ether detector. We're going to start with a product. We're going to build a reagent. We can only pass 1 atom over at a time, but thankfully I'm not trying to change anything here. We're just deconstructing and reconstructing. So that should be mostly alright, really, because what we're going to do is we're going to literally replicate the steps on this side as a mirror image of the steps on this side, just like we did with one of the puzzles 2 weeks ago. Okay. The question is the order in which we want to do it, and realistically, we could get rid of all of the edge bonds first. Where do we even want to start this being? Possibly here, in fact. Not sure. Maybe over there. If I take this and just do a grab and a rotate, does that? No, that doesn't bump into the edge. Fine. So we could have a glyph of bond breaking like there, move this on a track over, and we could rotate it round and break all of the bonds. All of the edge bonds in there. So that would leave the salt and all of the other pieces still attached. I mean, let's do that and then start visualizing it, right? So we're going to go negative, and then we're going to rotate that round 5 times. And that's what you end up with. Ha! Well, I tell you what you could do, right? You could instead pop it there. And we'll have another arm here. Yeah? Because that's still going to break all the bonds. But now we could move it zigzag down and down a little bit more. Down, down. Yeah, and then start passing these through. I like it. So number 2 is just going to do a grab, a rotate, an extend, and then it's just going to do a reset, and then it's going to repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Yeah. 4, 5, 6. Meanwhile, this one just needs to rotate just before the grab each time. So it's looking something like that. Yeah. No, we don't really want to pass these through in that order. We want to pass the salt through first, don't we? Whoops, that's not even the correct spacing. Bonk. We don't really want the next reagent to come in, though, either, do we, whilst we're rotating it round? So maybe we want to place it, place 1, place 2, place 3. Place 4. Yeah, maybe something a little bit more like that. So get rid of all of that. Yeah, we're going to go this way instead. Extend, extend, reset, then a grab. Extend, reset, then a grab. Here, reset. So you're going to grab the first one. Grab the second one. Yeah, you're going to do a grab, you're going to do that way, and you're going to reset. So that deals with 4 of the atoms out of there. So the salt is sort of going to get there. We're going to extend this track, and number 1's going to drop the salt in. We just need to get rid of the last 2. We just need to get rid of the last 2. This is all taken up. This is all taken up. I mean, we could do it with arm 1 again. Like it's not. It's a little ugly, but it's very doable. Yeah. Da 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 da. Bum. Right, rotate it again. Rotate that. We're going to grab... No, we're not going to grab. Yeah, after rotating it, you're going to bring in, you're going to drop it. Whoops. No, you're going to drop it, you're going to extend. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You are going to extend, grab, plus drop. Grab, plus drop. Because now you're going to retract, minus, rotate, extend. Yeah. Retract, minus, grab, rotate it, extend it, negative, release. And that is how we're going to get salt through first. This then just needs to be the mirror image to then recombine everything that we're passing through. So for a start, let's do it that way around so that it's indeed the mirror image. We're going to put a track here. Nimway's in the chat. Hello. How are you this evening? You know what I need to do? I need to... When I click on your name, the first thing that comes up is Manage Suspicious User. Came for the vibes. That's nice. That's nice. Right. We are going to start by... We're going to start by having this one here, because this is going to pick up the thing. And rather than a glyph breaking, we're going to have a glyph bonding right here. Yeah, and the other piston just going to be here and ready to pick it up. So, first thing that's coming through is going to be the salt. So the salt's going to come and it's going to come here. Then the next thing is going to be the green, and we're going to work our way backwards. Right, so no, not you there. We're going to do number 3 is going to pick up minus. And number 3, I think, is literally just going to hold it right there, yeah? You are not suspicious. You're not suspicious. Quite right. Quite right. Okay. Yeah. So then we're going to start by just going around the carousel, I think. And in fact, all 4 has to do is collect and deposit, and this just needs to rotate here and then move here and then spin and then drop. So actually this side doesn't even really need to be a mirror image. It's actually quite a lot simpler. Yeah. So let's finish writing this part and just make sure we drop the things off in the correct order, right? So we'll make a start with green and then go round from there. So if I'm rotating it, let's rotate it round this way. So it'll be green. Actually, does it matter which way round I rotate it? Not especially, right? If we do green, red, black, blue. Yeah, okay. We'll do green, red. So, okay, so after dropping this one then, number 1 is going to need to go... And I tell you what, right? We're getting our notebook out, because constantly referring back and forth to where atoms actually ended up is a real pain, actually, turns out. So, just want to make sure that we're absolutely clear on where our finishing location is for all of our stuff, and where our finishing location is for all of our stuff is there. Okay. So after dropping off the salt, we are just going to go plus, 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 plus. Grab, minus, 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 drop. Good. No, because that's going to get the fire first. We want the green one first, don't we? But that can be done with number 2 though. Because number 2 is going to be like back here, and it's just going to be waiting essentially, right? So as soon as you've dropped the salt, in fact before you've dropped the salt, you could be grabbing this, extend and swing and drop. Yeah, you could do something like that. Now number 4 is kind of like its own agent, right? So number 4 is going to do a little grab, in, swing, reset. And number 4 is going to do that for all of the ones, right? Then fire's going to come in. So number 4 is going to do the same thing right there. Let's just check that that's all working. Great. That's fine. We can work on that. So we want to rotate this way round, yeah? So after the reset, after you drop it, number 3 is going to want to do a rotate like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to want to do it there and there. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, after... Let me think. After red then comes black. So number 2... You know, rather than that being a drop instruction, I'm going to make that a reset instruction. Yeah, because then you just need to come back here, grab here, extend here, and reset. Very close, isn't it? Very close. So number 2, you need to be slightly delayed. There we go. Right, number 4, you are going to repeat again. Meanwhile, number 2, after you reset, you're then going to be going for blue. So you're just going to do a thing, a grab, an extend, and another reset there. Interesting. Number 1. Huh? Why didn't that pass through? Why didn't the Moors pass through when it got dropped by arm number 2? That's weird, isn't it? Okay. And then it's been dropped. Is it because... Oh, it's because number 1's grabbing it for some reason. No. Just don't do anything, number 1. Yeah? There we go. That's more like it. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty sure we're going to be able to get that timing okay. Yeah? And this needs to be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we'll just do this, this, this. Great. So number 2, you reset. Now you're going to go here, extend, grab. And you know what? You can just swing it round twice and then reset again. Great. Okay, and then number 2, again, you're going to swing. Extend, extend, grab, retract, swing it twice, reset. This repeat might have to be a little bit further out then, because number 4 is not going to be quite ready until that point. That's weird. Looks very much like it would be ready, doesn't it? No. As I thought, it does need to wait. But yeah, basically you just need to do that, and then you just need to release it. And at the point you release it, number 3 just needs to go minus, minus, and then rotate it round 5 times. And then go minus and reset. And we'll just make sure that all of those end up reset to their things. And that should be us going. There's my water bottle. Let's go. That's a satisfying da 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 da. This one, not a terribly hard problem, actually. Do you know what? Interestingly enough, in this appendix, some of the earlier puzzles have been the hardest ones, I think. That one with the 3 branches And as we discussed before, any puzzle which involves needing to do the whole thing twice because you have an atom left over does make it kind of intrinsically, not necessarily harder, certainly more tedious, but that one, the 3 one, the viscous sludge, this was a tough one. I remember this one being very tough. Okay, reconstructed solvent. Though we are fortunate the treachery that took place in House Colvin was ultimately exposed, there are still some elements of the crime that have not been fully understood. Why, for example, was Verin Ravari found in an abandoned tailor's shop in the Downriver Quarters? A powerful solvent found at the scene suggests the involvement of another highly trained alchemist, perhaps a rival or a co-conspirator. There is one theory advanced by the more gossip-prone, that the young head alchemist of House Van Tassen survived the initial Colvin assault and was able to carry out some manner of reprisal from this hidden location, although that seems rather far-fetched. Unfortunately, a satisfactory answer to this riddle may never be found. Still, in the interest of advancing the issue in my own small way, I have endeavoured here to reproduce a solvent of the kind I believe the mystery alchemist may have used. 1 hexagon. We've got elemental salt and elemental lead, and that's going to create universal solvent. Well, that is an awkward shape, isn't it? So we cannot, we could do it like that. Probably something like that is your best bet. But we're going to start with lead and salt as the only things. We can have one of those, and what you then need is you need a glyph of duplication, which, if I recall correctly, you put the salt on this end and the glyph on this end. I never remember it, I always have to double check it. Grab, rotate. Indeed, good. So we could do it that way round. Thing is, that's where the answer needs to go, though. I think going and grabbing the reagents with pistons seems like a very sensible thing to be doing, right? Because you can go in and out, and you go in and out, and we put it on a track, and it's all very kind of similar to what we've done before. We can try and move that out of the way as much as possible, but it's really going to be quite tight there. The other thing we're going to need is we're going to need one of those, because we need to create tin. I don't think this is the final level yet either. So this is definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge one, right? We can yeah, okay. With a single piston arm in this orientation, we can pop that there, pop that there. And then if we put that onto a track, that can then go and do a thing. And then this could be here with something like that, right? Okay. If we do something like this, where we take the salt, we move it up, we move it across, and then down. Yeah, as long as then all of our manipulations can be made in the top here. We can save one spot by doing that instead. Because I'm pretty sure rotating one here... Nope, that's not... Yeah, that's fine. That can just happen without interfering with the lead or the salt there. That looks pretty tight. That looks pretty tight. So that just needs to be a regular arm. Oh well, unless we go and try and grab these out of here. Ooh, you could move that there, and then you don't need that at all. Right, because if you turn that into a piston arm. That can grab those, it can grab that and put it onto there. Right. And then we can just focus on building the thing that needs building. We have to build it in the correct orientation though, because there's going to be no room to rotate it. There'll be no room to rotate it around. Yeah. Because that is not going to fit. It's going to bump into that. It's going to bump into that. In the interests of having a little bit of extra space over here, I actually think I kind of prefer that. And we'll return this one. I think what we want yeah, okay. What I'm thinking is something along the lines of the following. Right, let's take a screen grab of that one. I'm thinking something along the lines of we have this part here and this part here, right? And we put a glyph of bonding in here. So we have this part lined up here ready. Or we build this part, which we can use this glyph of bonding for, and then we can literally place it there, or we could place it here, like plenty of room. And we build this bit, placing it there. Yeah. So I think we build this bit as number 1, and we're going to build this bit here as number 2, and we'll put a glyph of bonding right there to bond them together. So, let's go with that. Okay. Gonna need an extra bit of track. and where we're going to want to start is... Does it matter from a rotation point of view whether we do salt, tin, sky, or sky, tin, salt? We're going to do it in a line over here. It would be nice to then be able to rotate it down. So let's do sky up here. So in that case, we actually want to do sky first, yeah? So, get rid of all of that. Number 3. Grab, rotate. 1, 2, 3. Rotate. That gives you sky. Then you rotate it twice. You extend it once. And you are going to drop it. Now you're just going to do a regular drop. Because then you're going to come back. Rotate twice and go negative. 1 extra. Meanwhile, number 2, which almost certainly now just needs to be a regular arm. Oh, and that's made it number 3. You're going to do a rotate here, reset, grab, rotate once, drop. Number 2 then. And yeah, let's just stop you repeating. So you only need to do one thing and then stop. You know? Wonder what happens if you just put X there instead. Right. Oh, incidentally, meanwhile, number 1 can rotate to the next thing it's going to want to do, which is probably red, so you just rotate round twice. Yeah, because if you're doing that, it's gonna be something like you're curling it like there, aren't you? If you're using this one exclusively. So you're gonna want to do red first. Pretty sure. You could curl it the other way, so you actually do red last. And actually, maybe that would be even easier. So maybe we actually start with salt, but then go green. Details. We'll come back to that in a moment. So number 2, where you went negative, now you're going to grab it. One, 2, 3. Yeah, now you don't just want to go round 1, 2, 3, do you? No, you want to go plus first to move it to there. And then go 1, 2, extend. And what you're going to do there is you're going to reset. Now we're going to grab the salt. Rotate it in. 1, 2, 3. And there it is. And then you're going to have your salt, and then you're going to go plus, plus, plus. And you're just going to drop it. Great. That's part number 1. So you're not going to drop it, you're going to reset. So, we're then going to do salt again. And we're going to use this exact same glyph. And we're going to attach things to it. We're going to rotate it and then push it. Attach, pivot it, push it. And that's going to end us up with fire there, which is exactly what we want when we then come take this back. Okay, right, we've got a plan, So, grab the salt, rotate it this way. You can even, now you can't rotate it again straight away. You're going to need to go 1, 2, 3, rotate, extend, reset. You're then doing green. Grab, rotate it this way. 1, 2, 3, in. That's going to turn it green. Number 1 after green is then going to want to do blue, so you are rotating that way as well. So you rotate 2 that way, pivot it, extend it, reset again. Okay. We're basically now taking that set of instructions and repeating it. This one then needs to go from sky to fire. So you're rotating 3 ways. You rotate back twice. Yep, you are still going to rotate it and extend it. And then you're still going to go there. And then finally, you're going to go and grab red. So you're going to rotate it again. You're going to repeat that set of instructions again. In. And that's going to put red right here. That is fine. That's going to be fine to rotate it and extend it. And then you're going to release it. Plus, plus, plus. Oh, you're going to need to retract. Yeah, I've totally missed a retract. Oh, no, because these all reset. These all reset, so they'll retract automatically. So you're going to release it, retract, plus, 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 grab it. The salt is here. Rotate it. Negative. And then I think if you just go positive, extend, reset, I think that's it. I think that will do it. Let's give it a go. This is what it's like running your code in production without debugging anything. Sometimes you almost run bug-free code. It's looking pretty solid though, to be fair. Very close. That's basically exactly what I thought would happen there. Oh, I never grabbed it. That's it. That's it. That'll work. That'll work. All I did was I missed out one command to grab the thing. Excellent. Well, this is going brilliantly. We might just have one more level in this appendix. And then we can play some games of Sigmar's Garden, and that'll be like proper chill, proper vibe. Then we start on the journal. Do we think the journal is going to be easier or harder than Production Alchemy? That was the final level. We're now got an afterward. The accomplished alchemical engineer is just as effective under the limitations posed by production environments as when they are working unfettered. And indeed, without dealing with practical considerations, we would never develop ourselves to our truest potential. It is with the hope of enabling as many as possible to reach that potential that I have compiled this book. May the brilliant work of the alchemists past inspire us for generations to come. Augustine Fontenelle, ALDIAG. Well, there we go. That, as they say, is that. So the last thing to start working through is the Journal of Alchemical Engineering, which I believe is a series of harder challenges. No idea what that symbol is. That looks pretty mad. Sigmar's Garden 2? What? They made a sequel to Sigmar's Garden? Okay. We've got to calm it down. Calm it down. Let's just start with volume XCIX. What are we looking at there? 99? Yeah, I think XCIX is 99, right? So, Van Berlo's Wheel. In this special issue, we celebrate the accomplishment of Carus van Berlo, one of the great pioneers of alchemical engineering. Though perhaps best known for inventing the wheel that bears his name, Van Berlo's other contributions to the field were arguably just as important, and his work forms a large part of later editions of the Codex of Alchemical Engineering. And here we have everything around us is made from combinations of a small number of underlying elements. By studying these elements and their transmutations, the alchemist learns to understand the workings of the universe itself. This is Asmodeus II. Right, so we're now back onto an infinite grid again, and yeah, right, we are well, hang on a minute, because that's Van Berlo's wheel, and what we're doing is we're making Van Berlo's wheel. This is quite a perverse puzzle, isn't it? Right. Well, okay, so we'll take one salt into the thing. We're going to just kind of grab that. We'll put this. Without having the hexagons to guide us, I suddenly feel like a little bit lost. Like, well, what is my incentive to keep it tight, you know? Right. Glyph, glyph, glyph. Glyph, glyph, glyph. What we're going to do is we're going to move that there. We're going to have something like this here. Grab a piston on a track. Grab a piston on a track. That's going to go through. So that can just rotate through, and we'll just put a glyph of bonding right there. Yeah, just move that even closer. So it's going to move to there, except we want to be able to rotate it. So yeah, so it needs to be something more like this. Slash. Actually here instead. So get rid of you. And then you can sort of go like there, right? And actually you can then just be a regular arm. You don't need to be a piston at all. So 3 is just going to grab and rotate and then sit there. Number 2, which also can just be a regular arm. Well, that's now number 3. Yeah, okay. So number 3 is going to do grab, here, here, reset. And then repeat, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 2, then going to have a little rotate. 2 in front of you, 2 in front of you, 2 in front of you, 2 in front of you. Don't need to rotate on the last one. And number 1 just needs to rotate like there. And that's basically it. And then so after that release, number 2 just needs to rotate in and drop it. And all we have to do is make sure that that then lines up. Oh, which it does, like just totally coincidentally. Great. Go. I think that might answer the question as to what is harder between the journal and the appendix. The Way of the Scholar, 1 out of 10. Ah, and we've got a little icon to show that we've done it. Perfect. Van Berlo's Chain. Oh, this is the same text as before. So, Van Berlo's Chain. Oh, okay, a little bit different. Right, so our repeating unit is 4 units of salt. Well, we know it's going to have something to do with pushing things forward and backward. I think having the bond there will be good. Okay, kind of similar to last time. We're going to have that and that. Now this can create your stuff and deposit it for you. So that's just going to focus on making making elements. The salt can be this one. Yeah. So what we can have is we can have So the salt can go... Yeah, no, I think we can just have... We might be able to just have one of them, right? No. We are going to need two. But we could have it like here, right? Where, okay, arm number 2, which is going to need to stay at least that far away, right? Because there are going to be sort of spines coming out the wrong way a little bit, unless you do it this way around. So what I'm thinking is number 3. Oh, well that's not going to work anyway, right? Because that's sort of all in the way. That's kind of all in the way. Like, that's the best you're going to do there. At which point, that stops making sense, and it should be like that instead. Whoops. Right, so number 3 is bringing this round here. Right, and that can be... kind of like that, and we'll just move it all up one. So the element's always there, the salt is always there. And then depending on which one it is, number 2 just grabs the salt, moves it and rotates it. And that's all it kind of has to do, number 2. And number 3 is just constantly just moving things back and forward here, right? So, okay, let's try something like that. So, number 3, we're going to start with green. Grab, rotate it twice, reset. And number 3 is going to do that 4 times. And that's all number 3 needs to do. Number 2 needs to grab it and move it up. And after it gets released... Well, let's actually work out ordering, right? So you move it. Yeah, we're going to start them with green. That's good, right. Green. Then it's blue. So blank, blank. Then after blue, you're going to rotate it 1 back. Blank, blank. Then after here, you're going to rotate it 3 times again. Fine, fine. And number 3 is just going to push all of that through. Well, this is okay, yeah? So after you release it, for green, you are going to need to go... So I think this whole thing can go one up. Okay, we're here, so you're going to need to go minus minus is that close enough? Yes, that's fine. Yeah, so you're going to go minus, minus, 1, 2. Reset. That's going to deposit it there. Yeah. Bit of a tricky one this, right? Because number 3 is then going to be way ahead of where we need to be. Yeah, because number 3 needs to be dropping, which is here. Let's worry about the spacing after we've written the instructions. So, number 2 is then going to grab and extend. Right. Blue just needs to rotate. And we're going to do minus, minus, reset. Then we're into water, which is going to be the same set of instructions as the first one, actually. Except for the fact that it doesn't need to have that gap. And then it's going to be the same set of instructions as the second one. Okay. So this repeat needs to be such that the third is where the I think I messed that up a little bit, maybe. Okay, so this repeat needs to be such that the third, 1, 2, 3, the fourth, 2, 3, 4, is the first thing that's being done after the extend. Right, so the extend needs to be on the third one, right? 1, there. Yeah, and the extend needs to be on the third one. 1, 2, 3, there. Yeah. And that's all fine then, and all that's remaining is that needs to be a couple after that, those 3 need to be a couple after that, and that's it. Let's see if that works. Not quite. Not quite. What happened there with number 3? Nah, you gotta rotate it. You gotta pivot it first. You gotta pivot it first. Yeah, except you can't pivot it first, can you? Because if you pivot it first, it's still gonna end up on this thing there, which is not great. That's going to make the mechanism a bit more complicated, isn't it? Yeah. Not sure it can be fully avoided though, so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go yeah, even that first one's not going to work anymore, actually. Do you know what the easiest way to solve it is just going to be to do that. Right, yeah, it's going to be to do that, and it's going to be to add an extra go negative to each of these steps. So if I just grab everything, right, and add an extra negative in there, move that down, move that down. Right. Alright, add an extra negative in there, move that down, move those down. Whoops. Put another negative in there, move that down. Just move all of that down. Yeah, okay. The timing's not going to be correct now, but it's going to be sort of vaguely there. So you want to go... You need to swap these. Wait, something's gone a bit wrong there. Wait, what? Okay, just move all of that down. Okay, so it needs to be negative, rotate, rotate. Yeah, fine. And then we don't need that rotate there. Great, that should now work, except for the fact that we need one extra negative in there. But that should now work. Oh no! No, it did not work. Sorry, wait, what went wrong? Oh, it's because my first one does it the silly way round. Yeah, okay. That's rotate, rotate, then it's negative, negative. Yeah, okay, fine. You gotta get it in the correct orientation first, then move it along. Which I did with all the others, except for the first one, so it didn't matter on the first one in the first loop. Brilliant. Really good on the area as well. Let's see. Before we continue on that one, I want to play a bit of Sigmar's Garden. Let's get some vibes going. That seems a reasonable place to start. That seems a very reasonable place to start, to be fair. We need to clear these as quickly as possible. So we might need to use assault against that. Okay. Yes. Clearing that one's probably less urgent than clearing that one. that V-tie probably with that Moors would be better, because it opens that pair up. Okay. Almost certainly we get rid of the lead here to expose the tin. The next one we have, the iron is down there. That's okay. That'd be okay to get. Like, we can do that pretty fine, I'd say. What do we want to do? Do we want to expose the fire? Probably more. Probably. In fact, yeah, we can now clear those. V-tie with this Moors, probably. We don't quite end up with perfect salt. You know, 4 salts left at the end, but pretty good one. Ooh, this is a hard configuration. We need to clear this sky, because this lead needs to be moved before this tin. Going to be very hard to get rid of air there. We're going to need mercury available to us as well, so let's use that salt to get rid of that sky. And we will get rid of you. Does that matter? It might. Well, it might not if we're doing the next one straight away anyway, because that one's quite a way away. Let's clear you guys down. We're going to get stuck pretty quick here. We're going to get stuck pretty quick. Okay, we've already used the salt with the sky, so we're going to need to use another salt with the sky. Pretty sharpish anyway. So we could do this one with here. These 2 reds, that exposes this one. Which could get this V-tie exposed for that Moors. Seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, looking okay. We don't need another Moors. We could really do with another V-tie, but on the other hand, could do that one instead. So now do we want to clear that one, or do we want to get these 2 available? Probably that. So then we can Oh no, those didn't actually reveal anything. That might have been a massive error. Yeah, that might have been a big error. Clearing that down will clear all of the water off the board. And reveal this green here, which can clear with that one. Let's do it. That seems like a not unreasonable one to do, right? So we clear all of that, and we've cleared all the green. We've got one more V-tie here. Clearing this one would reveal this, and we can get that here, so that's okay. Clear that way round. This salt. I think we're going to have to use the salt, yeah? Ooh, that was pretty close. Got it, though. Okay. Let's try one more, and then we'll go back to the journal puzzles. There is only one opening move to make. And there's still only one move that can be made. That seems like a fairly sensible move to do. So the first one's a lead here, so actually exposing this mercury, probably useful, but maybe not urgent. Exposing the silver, definitely not urgent. Let's clear those down. Okay. There's my tin. This is already going quite well. We've got a lot of spare baubles around. We're going to be a little bit careful here, but I don't foresee too much of a problem. Ah, that was a bit of a shame to waste that on that. Okay, let's clear those two down. Ah, there are only 4 of those on the board, so we'll clear those off entirely. Great. Perfect. 15 more wins, and we're all good. Next one, reactive cinnabar. Okay. So we don't actually need very much there at all. So something like grab, put it there. You need to get the first bond in, and then you're sort of moving it to the side and only doing side bonds after that. So you could probably even do it like as close as that, potentially. Well, let's see how far we get. So grab it, minus, extend, reset, grab it, minus, and then what do you need to do? You need to move it off to this side here. And you're going to have it rotating like this. Or you move it off to this side here, you have it rotating here. So at this point you have it here. Release, extend, grab it. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's two salts. It's two salts, like, literally attached to each other. Right there. So it kind of doesn't matter which way around you do it. We want the center of rotation to be the one that's not on the thing, though. So we might need a second arm. And it's going to rotate here. So arm number 1 is currently like that. We're going to go and we're going to extend it. Yeah, okay. We're going to go negative and extend, which is going to put it there. We're going to rotate it twice and then extend it. Great. I'm going to extend that because meanwhile number 2 will have done that. Then it's going to extend, grab, retract, do that. So it's going to have done here, 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 and then here. So repeat that instruction, and then just take that part of the instruction again. Okay. Oh yeah, of course that can't work. Wasn't really thinking. Wasn't really thinking. It's got to go that way around, doesn't it? Bonk, bonk. And it's going to grab it from that side. I mean, it's okay. It just means that all of those instructions are wrong. So what it needs to do is it needs to rotate, it needs to release, rotate, extend, grab, retract, rotate in and reset, and then it's going to repeat that once, and then after repeating it once it's then going to do that bit. Fine. And this can rotate on the release. The repeat is going to rotate here. It's going to rotate here. And then that's it, right? Okay, what did you do? Oh, right. X. Oh yes, okay, well after you do that you need one final rotate to get the last bond in. And then all we need to do after that rotate is go one more negative and reset it. And that's it. Ah, not quite. There we go. Now it's correct. Cool, pretty reasonable. That's quite a tight solution as well, space-wise. I think you could shave off one more hex, maybe, at least. But yeah, pretty good. I like being on this side of the peak, on the area. Top percentile's 14, so you can shave off 4 hexes. Nice. Next one, silver caustic. What do we got? Silver, 2 mercury, 2 salt. Okay, classic. You got your classic thing here. So we'll have our little machine, which goes and creates our silver. The mercury then needs to go and be moved. Hey, Dogflow in the chat! You're on a trip this week, won't be able to follow the streams. Be back next Monday. You have a great weekend. You have a great week, Darkflow. I'll look forward to seeing you next Monday. Have a great one. Okay. So we need the silver. We're going to also need the mercury as a result of this as well. So if we go and sort of stick it that way round, right, with a view that the two products... Oh, well, actually, the silver's going to be created on this one, isn't it? Yeah, which is fine. So we're sort of pointing it in that direction, is the idea. And those are just going to come out and do their own thing anyway. So we also need calcification. We need a calcification glyph. So I think probably what we want to do is we want one set of instructions to build that, one set of instructions to build that, and then we combine them with the silver at the end. Yeah, let's go with something like that. So, right. as ever, probably going to be a piston, probably going to be some track. And we want to grab it from sort of here as well. So it'd be kind of interesting to do something with this like that, would it? Because we can grab that and move it in. We need a calcification glyph. Probably not like there precisely, because we need to optionally run these past the calcification. So you could bring it in and around. Okay, I hate having to think about that in that sort of way. So let's move it that way around, because then it sort of starts making more sense to me. I don't like rotating things in my mind like that. So we can grab Mercury, then we grab you, then we grab you, and then that's that product built. Then we can grab Mercury, then we can grab you, then we can grab you and calcify it, and then that's second product built. Meanwhile, arm number 1 is just working hard building things. So let's work on it from here, from this point. And number 2 is also going to start on the Mercury. So, number 2. Grab in. I'll just say reset, because you're going to go negative, grab, in, plus, right, that's going to move you here. And you know what? We can literally just hit reset. Minus, minus, grab, in, rotate, rotate it twice that way, and now you have got a piece. Now you got a long piece here, which is one piece that you want. And at that point, I think you're kind of going to want to go like plus plus and like try and drop it somewhere. Try and drop it here. I mean, in fact, entirely possible that this silver that's going to be here, if we can just get this silver moved to here, then it's going to be over here, is it? Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna need to move it like up or down. Well, we're still attached to the red one, aren't we? Yeah. So if we're so attached to the salt. So if you popped it there, if you're able to grab that off there and move it onto there, then rotate it and spin it so that you're ready for the next one. Like, pretty reasonable. Anyway, right, number 1, you are just going to You also need to start... no, you're going to start by grabbing this, aren't you? Grab, here, release, grab. Release. So, that makes tin, iron, copper, silver. At which point number 3 can do a little grab. Like, we can do that for now and put it there. And number 2, which is here, can go plus plus and extend. And release it, and that's pretty great. Oh! No, number 3 just needs to be there. And you don't even need to do that. Whoop, whoop. Nice. So if you then just rotate that round, you can't. What you need to do instead is you need to do back and extend. So another minus and an extend, and then another couple rotates. Because that is now in the correct position to receive this. Meanwhile, number 2 should just be on a reset there. Because number 2 is basically going to do very similar instructions. We're certainly going to repeat that bit. We then need to go and do the red. So minus, minus, grab, in, plus, plus. Reset. Then we need to do minus, grab, in, minus, rotate in. We're going to rotate it twice. Yeah, and then it is this bit that we're then repeating. Not quite. That's fine. Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay. Oh man, that's really close to working, but it doesn't quite work, does it? And you're not going to be able to swing that without hitting the other one. That's kind of annoying. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. So we're going to bring that back and in. Yeah, I think rather than releasing it there, we're going to need to rotate it out of the way. Which is a bit of a shame. Well, we could either rotate it out of the way or we could have an extra bit of track, but I think rotating it out of the way is the neater solution. Okay, because now we can go and we can bring that in. Yeah, but now, of course, that bit of it doesn't work. So you need to rotate it in, and then you're going to rotate it. Yeah, now rather than going plus plus, you're going to release that. Then you're going to go plus plus, grab, pivot, negative. Grab, pivot it that way, go minus. Yeah, okay, you're going to need to go minus, release, minus, grab, plus plus. Actually, you don't need to do... Well, okay, I mean, we've done it now, right? So, it's fine. Okay, yeah, and then we are extending. And I think probably just a reset there. Because number 3 still has hold of this thing. But on the other hand, that's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. So you're not going to release it, you're going to do that. And number 3 just needs to release it at some point during the process. And that is a pretty small machine. There we go. I think we might be doing alright this way. Oh, yeah, very nice. Top percentile's 28, but look how far down the histogram we are there. That's very nice. We're also very good on cost too. Brilliant. One more puzzle on issue 1. Before then going to salve. So one final Van Berlo puzzle. We are making 2 different products. And our reagents are gold and 2 fires. So we've got 4 fires here and 4 salt. And we've got 4 salt here. And they're not quite the same as each other, are they? So what's our view? Do we literally take one fire and we build one machine that builds that, and we take the other fire and we build one machine that builds that, and call it good? Because there's not very many parts of this that are reusable, right? There's a fire and 2 salts, which gets reused here. We've got 3 fires in a row with salts that... yeah, I suppose that's probably how you're splitting it, right? You're doing the back side here is the same as the front side here, but you rotate it before putting the gold on. And then similarly, the front side here is the same as the back side here, except you've rotated this 3-piece. Okay. So let's work first on these 3, which we can make by just literally curling it around here. And then we'll have a calcification here. So we'll make 3 by curling it around here. And then we can, using this piston, we can probably just kind of rotate it and do the thing with this calcification, and we'll try and make that, and we'll try and make that. Okay. Grab. 1, 2, reset, grab. 1, 2, reset, grab. 1, 2, reset. Wait. Didn't grab. So that's moving it there. Now we kind of want a salt in there. So we want a salt on that side and we want a salt on that side. I'll tell you what we could do. We could move the calcification over here, pop that there. Yeah. And then at this point, we're going to grab extend. Rotate and in, reset, grab, extend, rotate and in, reset that. And that is going to give us the front of the device. How do we then get it to go the other way? Okay, just because my rotating mind is no good right now. So you're going to try and do the same thing, just in a different orientation. Meanwhile, let's just grab a piston. Probably doesn't necessarily have to be a piston. But after this, you're going to grab it and just kind of go all the way up here with it. Okay. Because the next thing you're going to build is essentially the same thing to start with. But now you need to rotate it. Yeah, ooh, that's a bit of a dirty way to do it, I suppose, but yeah. Yeah, you're basically just going to rotate it 3 ways around that way. Reset. Grab, extend, rotate and in. Okay. Because now you're going to release that, go that way, grab it, rotate it back the other way, release that, go here, grab that, rotate it this way, reset, grab, extend here, right. So this gives you the front here and the back here ready to be bonded to your gold. And the gold needs to come in from that side, so it would be easier to actually have it from the opposite orientation, you know? It would probably be easier to have it from the opposite orientation. But what we're going to do is we're going to have... How far away does it actually need to be? I'm not even really entirely sure. I think there's definitely no problem having the gold like somewhere on this track here. What we're going to want is we're going to want number 2 to start sort of here. That might be a bit too dangerous. But we'll have number 2 start somewhere like that. We'll grab it, extend it, drop it, and then sort of go plus plus. We want to sort of grab it from here, right? But the first one's going to be this way around, yeah? Plus plus, extend, grab. It's going to need to go negative at least twice before you then rotate it round 3 times. So I think this needs to be another 2 over. And we're going to need another 2 pluses there. Oh, whoops. No. That's too much. It's... well... negative, negative, 1, 2, 3. It's something like that, right? Yeah. Another one out. Okay, that's this one that we're building right now. So we're going to go negative, negative again. And at this point, we sort of want the next part, which is actually the same in both cases, to sort of already be ready, in fact. And we should be able to get it ready. So in fact, maybe we could even do something a little bit earlier than that. Let's try and get the first section ready earlier. So what's that going to look like? Well, it just needs to be a three-way thing. So very similar to this, right, would work perfectly fine. Actually, it doesn't even need to be that complicated, you know. So all we're doing is we're grabbing the fire, we're going to calcify it. I think we could do it with something like that. So make the salt, grab the fire and put it around this way, rotate it, make the salt. Like literally something like that would work. And like, okay, we don't really care about costs, so let's just make it a piston to make it easy. But yeah, here, 1, 2, reset, grab it, 1, 2, 3, that bonds it. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset. One, two, three, four. Yeah, reset. Grab it. 1, 2. Right, that's made the piece that we need in both cases. So I think what we want to do then is we want to have... So the first piece that's coming out is this piece here. Yeah, fine. We still need enough room to be able to rotate this round. But like, that's fine. Like, I think number 3 on its own could do that. So, release it, rotate it, grab it, and if you extend it twice, so if we literally move it to there, Okay, can number 2 move like this? Because then we move... Ooh. No, needs to move that way. Yeah, extend it twice and then just move it back one. And that's the first product. That is the first product. Okay. Now we just kind of need to drop that. And a place that could be dropped is there. Yeah, because number 2 kind of needs to come backwards anyway. So number 2 goes plus, 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 drop. Well, probably plus, 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 reset. Number 3, well, kind of needs to reset there, doesn't it? Right, so number 3 then needs to do almost the same set of instructions again. But not quite, because this time it needs to... Yeah, at this point, rotate it round 3 times. Not quite gonna work. Well, unless number 2 goes and extends here. Which is kind of fine. So we can drop that. Number 3's already decided to pull it back. So this is this one. Oh, we're at the end of arm number 1 now. So arm number 1 kind of needs to do a little bit of well, let's start with a little rotate, yeah? Yeah, not sure. Okay, hang on. So bonding that up, that's fine. we need it to be the... Oh, we need it the other way around anyway, right? Okay, so release it. Yeah, release it, rotate it that way, grab it, and rotate it back round. Because that's what we want to push into the thing anyway. Alright. So that's what we want to bond. And what we're doing is we're making that. We're making it that way round. So all we've got to do is we've got to transport that. So number 2. Yeah, so at this point you reset. At that point number 2 needs to grab it. Which means that it needs to have gone plus 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 beforehand. And then after it grabs it, it's going to go minus, 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 minus. And that's the product. So now it just needs to have a way to get in there. In a way that's not like just totally terrible. So we're currently holding the back piece. So we could do something like that. Does number 2 ever use this hex? It doesn't, you know. Yeah, so we're grabbing that, minus, minus. We can rotate that up. And then it's literally just minus, minus, reset. And that should win that for us. What? No! We got an extra bond. We got an extra bond. That is not what we want at all. Right. Bonk, bonk. So rather than a rotate minus, minus, you want a minus, then you rotate it. Hang on. No, 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 no. We run it. We run it. We don't debug it. We just run it. Because we've got confidence. That first set of rotates around that number 2 does. I want those to be the other way around. Because I think that creates unnecessary area for us. Like, I think the area here is pretty okay. Like, it looks a lot. But I think this is pretty good. Considering the size of the products you have to build. There we go. Getting there. One more to do. One more. Excellent. So yeah, cost, right side of the hump. Area, pretty good. Pretty good. Top percentile, though, is less than half of what we've used there. Less than half. Wow. Props to those guys. Well, there we go. So that is issue 1 complete. There are in total 9 issues. So we've got another, well, effectively another 8 chapters to play through. I don't remember this necessarily being in the game when I played it first time. I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering. But, yeah, I don't recall this many levels being here. But maybe I just, like, never looked on the back of the journal. For now, though, we're going to play a little bit more Sigmar's Garden. And just have a pretty cozy, chill end to the stream. Having salt available from the off always gives you a bit of uncertainty, right? We've got to be a little bit careful, but the last Vita and the last Moors are here, so I think we're pretty safe. Just doing those straight up. Lead is here, and it's behind. Effectively, it's behind this mercury. So to get to this lead, we're going to need to clear this and this, which involves us clearing basically all of these. So those two certainly need clearing. Oh shoot, no. It means this needs clearing, which means that needs clearing. But you can't clear that without these two. Oh, we might have already failed this. We might have already failed this one. So this lead can't be got from the tin side. And you can't clear this mercury without it clearing this lead. So the only way to get to this lead is this item here. The only way to clear that one is to clear this one here. But to get to this one, you are going to need to clear this Moors. For this Moors, you need this Vitae. To get this Vitae... Yeah, you can't do it? Yeah? Oh, shoot. Well, that was a very, very quick fail. That was a very, very quick fail. Damn, I thought that one was going really strong as well. Really strong opening. Okay. Where's my lead this time? Okay, it's in there. We need to clear the fire out of the way to get to that. Seems reasonable. Okay. We've got some spare blue now kicking about. So this is okay. There are 6 blue left. So there's one there, one there. 6 green left as well. Let's clear that red out so that we can clear you. Okay. I don't think we need to worry about the mercury just yet until we want to clear this silver. So this is okay. Let's clear that green. Yeah, we want to clear this one for sure. Good, 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 good. That's going really well now. All 6 blues can just be taken off the board. The 2 remaining ones of those can be taken off the board. Hey, I might get my perfect salt finish. All 4 salts available at the end. Okay. This is a bit of an unusual one, right? Because clearing that doesn't reveal anything for you. Similarly for this one. And that one, not available at the moment anyway. All of these reds kind of need to be cleared quite quick. So let's get rid of you. And you. Oh, we might get stuck pretty fast again. Where's lead? Oh dear, oh dear. Salt. Get rid of you, get rid of you. Ooh. Where's tin? Tin is just behind here. Tricky. Using this one's not going to get me anything. And in fact, this is not going to be available until all the way through to here. There's my tin, though. Wait, how can I even do... Oh, I need to clear the blue. Let's clear you. So that blue needs taking down. Probably. It's not ideal. Oh, could be this one actually. Nah, that doesn't really reveal anything either though. I think salt going to be used on that red now. And then you can be here. Right, which Vitae do we use? Clearing this one probably reasonable because then we have another Moors directly available. The salts are all spoken for. I need to use a salt on a green. I need to use on a thing. So yeah, we could use salt on a green. Sort of freeze that one up. last salt has to be used on this red. Okay, let me think. We could clear these two, which reveals that for the red, that silver. Yeah, that's got to be correct, right? Or if it's not correct, it's got to be like the best move that's available to us. There we go. That one was pretty close. That one was pretty close. Okay. We've got a bunch of pretty reasonable starting points here. Okay, we're going to expose our lead fairly quick. Getting to some mercury going to be a bit of a challenge though. We're going to need to use a salt pretty sharpish. Bit of a shame because we've got a lot of water up here which needs clearing. I think we kind of have to go for it, right? And those two can go here. We've got Vitae, we've got a Mors here. We can also open up a Mors here, which opens up a Mercury for us. I think almost any of them are fairly reasonable, probably except that one, because that's a really bad move to do. I kind of like getting that exposed as quickly as possible. Because that gives us that. And we can clear... Yeah, we can reveal a fire there. Clearing these two we're not in a rush to do. I think we've got 2 Mors and 2 Vitae left, but we could clear them quite quick, actually. Yeah. Oh, I like getting rid of that, because then bang, bang, yeah. That's good. I like that. And now that one is free to be used for assault much, much later on. Let's open up that fire. Clear green off the board, very nice. All the reds can now go. Excellent. We are 88 wins down, another 12 wins, and we'll unlock the Sigmar's Garden achievement. For now, though, we're going to wrap up the stream there. For those of you watching on YouTube in the future, thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. For those of you staying on Twitch, let's see who is available for a raid.